Hello everyone. Well, today I got a project I'm going to do, and that's to take this corian top that came out of the sink as an insert and make a cutting board for the sink instead of this. This is very heavy to carry around on the van. So I'm going to take these three boards here, and I'm going to join them, and then I'll plane them down to the thickness of this corian top, and then I will glue them up and do some sanding and show you the end result. Let's get started. What I've got to do now is I've got to joint the ends of these so they are flat and straight, because I need to glue them together, and you don't want any gaps in there because then you can see where the pieces are put together. So I'm going to use the joiner here and joint each end of these here and then glue them up. I'm going to put marks on the end lines so I can tell when it's perfectly flat. I'm going to run this through here. It's going to get kind of noisy, so I'll just get these flattened out. I'll pencil mark each board and make sure all the pencil marks are gone. That makes it nice and flat. Now I can glue them up. Got the wood all jointed on the ends, and I'm ready to assemble those. I drew lines on here to line it up, know which piece goes where in case I mix them up. The lines match up. Now that I've got my clamps in line and where I want them to be, I'm going to turn the boards on edge, and I'll apply a glue to these edges. Work my finger across them. You don't want a lot, but you don't want too little. And it's kind of cold out here, so the glue is not always cooperative coming out of the bottle. But work it on there. Lay these boards down. Line them up. Nice and square. What I like to do is take these clamps on the ends, pinch these together just a little bit to keep them flat, just to slow it out for a bit. Same on the other end. And just easy on you're tightening them down. As you can see, the glue is squeezing out. So it's been 40 minutes, and I'm going ahead and take the clamps off now. going to, as you can see, I still need to scrape the glue off. Set that aside, move the clamps off. Work that off of there. A paper towel, get all the excess off. And then we'll go ahead and use a wet rag, kind of wet, and rub it down, start working out the glue. Follow up with a dry rag. As you can see, getting most of that glue off of there. And what I like to do while it sits overnight is to put it on some boards to hold it up to get air on both sides of it so it doesn't warp during the winter months when you got a lot of moisture floating around in here. Who knows, tomorrow I might come out and it might not be flat, so I'll just put it on here and let it dry overnight. So I got it sanded down both sides, nice and smooth, took all the scratches out. And I'm going to take and go to the table saw and cut a straight edge on this end here, so that when I get done doing that, I will take this, set it on top. Fewer cuts I have to make on the bandsaw to complete this is easier. So I'm going to keep this as a straight line here, and this is a straight line. All I have to do is cut around this part here. But on this end, I'm just going to go straight across. Okay, there it is. I'm going to take this to the bandsaw and cut this part out right here. Okay, we got a rough cut on our board, match up with the sink piece. And what I'm going to do now is going to take and fine tune the edges, get a nice sanded edge on that, and all the way around here, finish it off. So I've got my sander here, and I'm going to get the straight edge done first with this particular device that's on here, and then I'll change out to a round sander to do the curved part on it. So I'm going to sand it down to the lines, make it nice and smooth and straight. Out the sanding device I had on there before, then put this round one on here. I'm going to use that to do the inside curve here to get that nice and smooth. And got it all cut out, and I've sanded both sides of these flat, nice and smooth. And now I'm going to work on the edges. I'm going to round them over just with sandpaper by hand. Some people use their orbital sanders, but I find that a little too aggressive for me, so I like to sneak up on it and make a rounded edge all the way around on both sides. Just get a nice soft edge. When you cut these with a saw, you get a very sharp edge that you could, it's like a paper cut. You could very easily just run your hand across that and get yourself sliced open. So I'm going to round over these edges. Got a couple areas that are open wood here. I'm going to fill this with CA glue. And I'll just bring this board out to the end here and see if I can. I got one more here to do. See it right there. I don't know if I'm doing this the right way or not, but I don't do it that often. Usually I don't cut anything that has knots in it, but it'll work out. So I'm going to go ahead now. It's the next day, and I'm going to sand this knot here that I put CA glue in yesterday and see if I can get it nice and smooth, and then resand the whole surface with 220 sandpaper and the edges as much as I can, because sometimes these edges that you cut will end up being darker than the other part because it's exposed. The end grain on here is exposed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use 220 final sand everything down. Also, what I like to do is take a flat sand piece of paper like this on a sanding pad and sand it, final sand in one direction on both sides. That way you get rid of any of the swirl marks on it. Tack cloth, get the final dust off. And final step is I'm going to use some mineral spirits to see how any imperfections in the wood that I might need to sand out again, and see how the edges come out, and see if that will be light enough on the edges. You often get a two-tone effect on the ends. So we're going to go ahead and apply this mineral spirits to clean it up, and also just to see what it looks like once I put the oil on there. This will get all the dust off. Looks pretty good on the ends. Not bad there. Let's see what it looks like over here. Yeah, looking pretty good. I think it's going to work out all right. Okay, so we're going to use this cutting board oil from Howard's. And it says to put a generously amount of oil on here. You could soak it. Some people put it in a tub and soak it overnight. I don't have a tub big enough to do that, so I'm just going to use a clean, soft cloth and apply this to it, all sides, and let it sit at least a minimum of an hour. They say preferably overnight when you're doing a new board. They let it soak in. The more the merrier on this. It'll make it last a lot longer. So I'm going to go ahead and start that process now. I have an open bottle that I'll finish up here first. Just work it around in there. It'll take a while for that to soak in. All right, so we'll let that sit for a couple hours and come back and turn it over and do the other side, and we'll see how it looks. Maybe I'll do another coat. Okay, so we finished it up. It's all been oiled down both sides, and just wanted to kind of show you kind of what it looks like around the edges. Came out pretty nice. So that's the product, and then we're going to go put that in the van right now. So the ceramic, or the corian one, weighs over 6.5 pounds, and this one weighs just a little over 2 3/4 pounds. So I don't think the weight makes a big deal, but anyway, it's a lot easier for me to lift this out of the sink than the other one, so I'm looking forward to using it. So here we are. I'm going to put it in the sink now and take a look at that. If it's nice in there, you can use it either side. So I'm pretty happy with that. Thanks for watching.